This learning is Le'ili Nishmas Beruria Bas Chananya, Maseches Terumos Perek Beis Mishna Aleph. The halacha is that when a person separates truma, they need to do it min hamukaf, which means that the truma that's being separated and the produce that it's being separated for should be in the same area. And because of this, the halacha is that ein termin mitar ala tamei. A person is not allowed to separate truma from produce that is tar for produce that is tamei. And the reason is because we're concerned that because some of it is tar and some is tamei, the person is going to separate them in such a way that they're not in the same area, that it's not min hamukaf. Nevertheless, the halacha is that ve'im tarmu, if a person did separate such truma, trumas and truma, the truma is a good truma. The Mishnah continues and teaches, be'emes amru, in truth they said that there are exceptions to this, and that is a igul shel dvela, a pressed cake of figs, shenitma miktsase, that part of it became tamei. So some of the figs are tamei, and some of the figs are not tamei. So even though they're touching, the tumah is not transferred from some of the figs to the other figs. So over here, since they're actually pressed together, so there's no concern that a person will separate it in such a way that they're not in the same area, that it's shaloi min hamukaf, and therefore terim min atar sheyesh bay ala tamei sheyesh bay. A person could separate truma from the figs that are tahar for the figs that are tamei. V'chein agudel shel yarak, and the same is true for a bundle of vegetables that are tied together. V'chein arema, and so too the same is true by a pile of produce that a person is allowed to separate from the tahar parts for the parts that are tamei because they're all together and touching. The Mishnah continues and teaches, Hayu shnei yugulim, shtei agudes, shtei aremes. If there were two cakes of pressed figs, two bundles of vegetables, or two piles of produce, achas tmeya v'achas tahira, one is tamei and one is tahar. So then we go back to the original din, which is la yitra mizal zeh. A person is not allowed to separate truma for one of them for the other. The Mishnah now presents an opinion that argues with this. Rabbi Eliezer says, termin minatar ala tamei. A person is allowed to separate produce that is tar, that it should be truma for produce that is tamei. And we're not concerned that as a result, a person won't make sure that they're in the same area, in the same vicinity, and that he'll give truma shaloi min hamukaf. But rather, we say that the person will do it in the proper way, that it's min hamukaf, that they're in the same vicinity.